Hello, it's Kay, and today I am playing on my machine, and I thought I would show you how I make nice finishes and starting and stoppings and finishing off threads so that you don't see a heavy stop start at the beginning and end of your leatherwork, so that all the gubbins and the mess is on the back. So this is a shape that I have got a knife template punch cookie cutter to punch out, and then I've used a hand punch tool, a circle, and used half of the circle on each side to cut out that shape in the middle. And I then fold the piece over and it becomes a retainer loop for D-rings, trigger hooks and other things. So I use this shape an awful lot for connecting bags to straps, or trigger hooks to webbing, or buckles and D-rings to leads, things like that. So it's really important that although it's a very small amount of stitching, that it looks really, really neat. And so this is one that I've been sewing with the loose threads. And I'm just gonna sew another one up before I show you how I start and stop and finish the ends off. So I'll swivel the camera around now and you can take a look. So it's a bit of a rainy day here on the south coast, so it's slightly darker than I'd ideally like it for you to see, but this is the shape, and you can see I've scored and creased where I'm going to be stitching. And this is my cylinder arm walking foot machine. You might have a different machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the needle in 1/2 centimetre from the edge. I'm starting off in the middle, putting the foot down, and then I'm holding on to the threads, wrapping it around my fingers. And then I'm just going to start slowly sewing round. So there's no back step. I'm just holding on to the threads and starting off. So it's really important when you're having to stop and start on a sixpence that you kind of work out your stitch length, because obviously the bigger the stitches you create, the less stitches you have. So if you've got something like this with quite a sharp curve on it, you don't want really big stitches, because you'll only get 1, 2, maybe 3 around that curve, and it won't have as nice a shaping following that cut line with big stitches than if you choose a smaller stitch. So the stitch length I'm using, oh sorry, the light's really changed. The stitch length that I'm using is about 3.5 millimeters long. I have an adjustable slider on mine, so it doesn't crank it to exact millimeters. It's an infinite choice really. So now I'm going to do the other half of this lozenge shape. Put the needle in again and go round. And the idea is that you start and stop evenly. Oh, I've just played Russian roulette with the bobbin. Bobbin's just run out. I've got a very short length there to make a knot with, but that'll add to the drama. So there's my two, I'm calling these lozenges, with their loose threads. And what you need to do now is on the reverse, I'm just going to pull the thread that is on the wrong side and pull it ever so slightly, and that should form, you should be able to see a little loop there. And depending on your eyesight and your fingers, you can either grab it with your bare hands, or I'm doing it with a pin. So basically you're pulling the thread that was on the good side through to the back. So now I've got 2 threads on the back and none on the front. Okay, so that's really nice. It just starts, there's no back stitching. So what I do now is I take those 2 threads and I knot twice, and I make sure that I press the knot down so that it's really close to the leather. And when I've done the knots, I'm going to use a pair of sharp scissors and I'm going to cut about 1/2 centimetre sticking out, and that's what I'm going to burn and knot on the back. So I'm going to go around now and do that on each of the corners, so there'll be 4 on each one. Hi, so I'm back again and I'm having a little trouble with my phone tripod, so we're slightly on the skew width. But here's my lozenge shape now, and as you can see, all the knots have happened on the reverse, which is nice. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my matches. I like to use Cook's matches because they are slightly longer. Although sometimes you get a funny batch. And then you just burn the ends, and you get them so that they sear off, and then you just press your thumb on that molten hot bit, which locks it off and stops the knot from coming undone. So now you can see that the end of the lozenges have been knotted and sealed and melted, so they won't come undone. So your threads need to have some plastic polyester, some man-made element to it, or beeswax on a cotton thread to allow that burning and melting to happen. And then it means that your good side looks beautiful. It looks like it's just started magically and stopped without any issues. Now, can you see that little ridged puckering around where the stitching is? Well, that's the presser foot pressure. So I'm just going to use a bookbinding boning tool. So it's used for bookbinding and also leather crafters. Originally it was real bone. Now they're usually a resin of some sort, and they're really useful. You can use them for burnishing corners, edges, so you can use your spit, saliva or some water. Some people are really grossed out by using your saliva, but other people feel that you get a much better quality burnishing doing it. Or you can use some leather inks or stains, and then you rub quite vigorously along the edge to get a nice sheen to it. But I love using it for pressing out the presser foot pressure marks, and you just work on it, just very simply pushing outwards, and I find that that gets rid of the puckers really well. So that is how we do starting and stopping really neatly without any issues at all. And I'll just show you if I grab a D-ring, I'll just show you how nicely this fits then. So you just push the lozenge into the position, and then it sits really nicely into the curves where I used the hand punch tool. And here's one that I made earlier, and it has the holes punched ready to attach it to the side of a bag for the gusset or for the front panel. So I hope you found that useful, and I hope it's one of those things that you think, oh, that's how you do it. It's just it's nice, isn't it, to share a tip that someone else can benefit from. There you go. Thanks for watching. Bye.